We had these mushrooms growing actually in our horse field, and this was like a squash plant that grew, and we just kind of let die because we could never figure out what kind of squash it was. Here we look, it's a smooth top, no fur, no slime. If we flip it over, you'll see a very light kind of lilac color, and then they're in little bunches. There we go. It's very pretty. So we're going to ID these later, and what we're looking for is actually a pinkish spore print, and we think it's spelled Dewit. So we're going to make sure that's what they actually are with the spore print today. We're going to eat them later, probably with just butter, so we can see what kind of flavor they have. I couldn't find a lot of recipes, but so what I like to do is just use the butter, get that flavoring, and then kind of figure out what can go with it. But I want these mushrooms just to get a little bit bigger. They are the type that if you eat them raw, they will give you a stomach ache. They have a couple lookalikes, and the lookalikes will have a red spore print. That's the big difference, or like a slimy top. So we're just going to make sure about these. And while I was sitting here filming for you guys, I actually saw these as well. Looks like a type of puffball. So we're going to do a little bit of check on those and see what they are as well. Flip them over. Puffball characteristics right there. I have a cat trying to love me while I'm doing this. So we will actually check into these two and see what we think. So we did a spore print on the purple, and it was actually kind of hard to get. They had to sit there all night. We ended up with a red or a pink, brown. So we're going to look up and see exactly what color it should have been for edible versus lookalikes, and see what we come up with. We think this may be a bruising web cap, but I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do is, if it's the other mushroom, I cannot say it, it's Blewit, Blewit, a Blewit mushroom, it would actually have a white spore print. So that might be why it was hard to get a spore print, and this might actually be just, oh, looky there. It actually might be white, because it does not look red on my finger. The plot thickens. Okay, so we are going to go get another one of the mushrooms from this grouping, and then kind of like, that does not look rusty red when put into like a little pile. Okay, so as you can see, this mushroom is definitely not for a beginner mushroomer, but after some, checks and getting used to it, I think this is because it's the first time we have seen this mushroom, why it's becoming hard for us on what we kind of want to do with it. But we're going to do a little bit more research. The smell is pleasant. Like when I sniff it, it doesn't smell bad. So I'm also going to look up the smell of the web cap, the bruising web cap, which is what I think, if this is a lookalike, what it is, and then make more of a decision from there. Here is a little area that we had a little tiny torn piece of mushroom on our black, and we can see this is definitely a white spore print. This is not a red or a rust colored one. So these are the edible Blewits that we were looking at. So we're going to find some recipes and cook them up. Alright guys, thanks for sticking with us through the spore print challenge. Oh yeah, so you can see it a couple different places in this little area.